All right, the second big problem that I've found is very much related to the first one, but it's something even more fundamental. It's basically that beginner meditators want to get somewhere else. There's a core human pattern that I want you to realize in yourself and in other people, and it's that there's a basic subtle rejection of the present moment. If that sounds too Eckhart Tolle or too woo-woo for you, people just aren't where they are and content with it. Literally. Watch people sitting on a bus. Watch people waiting on a bus. Watch people waiting in line. Watch people when there's not much going on. Watch people even when they're supposed to be having fun. Watch them, quite honestly, and watch yourself in all these situations and feel what it's like to be you in these situations. And you'll realize that this is it's a fundamental part of the human condition, the subtle rejection of the present. Now, this enters meditation, of course, because meditation in one sense is it's taking like artillery and just completely destroying that entire mechanism. So even then, this tendency shows up in meditation. Meditators will often meditate as a means to an end. So they'll do it to relax, or they'll do it to escape, or they'll do it to have unusual experiences, or to feel special, or to build some kind of identity, instead of just using it to rest in the present. And this is simply because they're applying, or the core human tendency of rejecting the present is now getting expressed through meditation. So it's meditation is now the way to avoid the present, you see. Now listen, again, like the previous problem, it's very normal at the beginning because, again, you've not meditated enough to learn that this is like one of the main roadblocks here. And also because when you've just started meditating, you've not really developed an ability to rest in the present, and actually you might have a bit of, your nervous system, frankly, isn't tuned to being in the present. Your body patterns, your emotional patterns, your mental patterns are all pointing you away from it. So it's no wonder, and it's normal at the beginning. But again, like with the previous problem, it eventually becomes a fork in the road, because ultimately meditation is not about different states or avoidance or feeling calm or feeling this way or that way. And it's not about getting somewhere. It's not about changing what you're experiencing per se. What meditation is really about is the ability to be here now, to understand your awareness, to learn to process your experience. When I say experience, I just mean your mind, body, sense experience, to process that fully and to see how your identity forms moment by moment. And you might wonder, well, how does this fit with enlightenment, awakening, or recognition, Ross? Because you're talking about meditation can lead you to insight into these things, but you're saying it doesn't get you anywhere. Well, let me give you an analogy. When you cannot drive, the act of driving seems miraculous to you because you don't know how to do it, right? So if you're in a car with someone, you're sitting there looking at them, doing all the things they need to do to drive the car, and it just seems like magic, okay? Now, what happens when you are able to drive? None of this now seems magic at all. It just seems like the act of driving. It just seems ordinary. There's nothing spectacular. You just kind of shrug your shoulders and do it. So the same goes with insight, with spiritual insight, with recognition, with awakening. And in the beginning, it might seem dramatic and spectacular. And I spoke about this last week when we were talking about why the word enlightenment is the wrong word. Enlightenment seems spectacular and dramatic when you're first sort of introduced to it and when you've never really truly tasted it, but then it just becomes obvious and inherent. It doesn't seem like something even to talk about, really. It just seems like something you've overlooked. Almost like seeing through an optical illusion. The image doesn't change, but you're just seeing what you couldn't see before. So although meditation does get you there, quote unquote, you're not actually getting anywhere, really. You're not getting somewhere else. You're just recognizing the nature of consciousness. And so that's the problem, is that if you are really attached to this idea of getting somewhere, you're never going to, quote unquote, get to where meditation actually takes you, which is just here and now, and the ordinariness of your own true nature. Because meditation just reveals reality as it is. It just reveals to you there's nothing outside this moment. There's nothing outside your experience. There's nothing outside what is happening right now. And so if you're constantly trying to get away from now and this moment and what is in your current experience, you're never grasping what meditation is really about.